Hi folks, welcome back to Recycled Model Railways. I'm Paul, and what am I up to this week? Well, today is just a very quick update on where I'm at with the Siphon Gs. We'll see you in a second. We've begun work on the Siphon Gs. Strangely enough, you kind of think that it's going to be the actual boxes that have all the work to make them look good, but no, it's all to do with the chassis. So you saw this last week, lantern on, electrical hook up on. We've done that both now, so we've got one for one end, one for the other. If you remember, I said I'm not wasting time or money doing every single carriage. I don't see the point. But the chassis, more work than I was expecting, a lot less work than I could have done, but here we are. So you can see I've got 4 here and I've got 4 there. Now cleverly I said a while ago, oh, I've got everything I need to do the Siphon Gs. No, I haven't. I ran out of the NEM pockets. I forgot that when I bought them, I bought a pack of 10 and 10 Hornby, what do they call them now? The knuckle type magnetic ones, can't remember the name of them. Anyway, I bought those when I was setting up for the Scotsman and then got waylaid with other stuff. So we don't have enough to complete the chassis. So I thought, I can't pick any up until tomorrow because it's Sunday today. So I thought, right, we'll get to a point and then we'll just stop, chuck it on, and see, you can see where we're at. The next time you'll see another video from me will be next weekend, because I only do work on the model on Saturday or Sunday. It's 1 day a week usually. As some of you know, I've got my own business that keeps me busy, and I have a family, so you know, this is a hobby. I'm not here to churn out videos on YouTube because I want 6 million subscribers. I do this because it's kind of in the hope that somebody somewhere will pick up a little stupid tip about what I've done or how I've done it, and to just share what I'm up to. It's not about being a big YouTuber. I don't have the time to commit to doing things like that. Anyway, I'm rattling on. So next time that you'll see them, I'll have all the chassis will have been primed where they need to be, all sprayed up in black, and probably these undercoated as well. Now I am going to cheat, I'll admit that. I've still got best part of a can of my etch primer, so everything will get either blown in where it needs to on these or completely with my etch primer. And then when I come to spray these, I'm finally going to get my brand new airbrush out, so stick around folks. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, just for the pure idiocy of me trying to use an airbrush, because I'm not going to edit it out. If I cock it up, I cock it up. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who thought about airbrushing and I've stayed away from it. I did for when I was doing this previously, did it for a long time, but I've chucked the idea in. I'm going to do it, so I think it's going to be fun, because I'm pretty sure I'll make a mistake. Never ever used one in my life for any reason, so we'll see where we get to when we come to spray them, but that will be a separate video. So what have we done? Right, well, if you remember, we had one of the carriages, this one, that had the detailing on the ends, and it's got the Buckeye, there we go, I remembered, a Buckeye coupling fitted, and it has a Buckeye coupling fitted at that end. I've blown in bits where I need to in grey, where I've had to do things like this, where I've had to replace the footstep here. A lot of these have got broken off. I'll take it for granted it's the age of them. The plastic's not as strong as it used to be. I also learned that getting hold of these bogies, you sometimes pull, and you pull that as well. So don't make that mistake. Put a screwdriver in about here and just pop down and they'll come off, because I broke several of these off pulling the wheels that way, and I didn't realise till I come to pick them up that I'd just made myself a whole new lot of work. So we've done a lot of replacement steps. You saw me last week preparing this thing to take the Buckeye and the NEM. I worked out where I needed it to be, how far back it had to sit. I made a mistake with the first one, that one there. I didn't cut the back off, and my NEM pocket wouldn't go in properly, so I learnt that. And I'd said that the bottom of the NEMs on these Lima chassis had to sit flush with the bottom of the frame, because that was the perfect height. This time, when I've come to do the rest of them, I decided that the best thing I could do would be to cut some plastic card and glue it on either side of there, glue it onto there, because then when the NEM pockets come in, they had somewhere to sit on. So all you had to think about then was how far back. Well, if you can see here, there's a ridge comes around there and taps into the side of this. So basically the back of the NEM pocket sits level or flush across here. That's the distance on my first one, which gave me the couplings length that I was looking for. So we've chucked some plastic card across every single one, even these that I did last week, because I thought it would help make the whole connection a lot stronger and probably a little bit tidier. So we've done 4. These 4 here have now all got NEM pockets fitted. They have just been blasted in with a bit of primer, so anything that was bare plastic has been blown in. You'll see all the buffer heads have been done on. This is the back end carriage with its pipes on. So we've got 4 there with their NEM pockets in and primer. You will also notice that everything has had weights attached to it. So much sunlight on that. So these are the original plates. They rattle around when you're picking them up. They're now glued in. I can't see any reason why I'd ever want them off, so I've glued them in. And these, as I'm sure some of you will realise, are alloy wheel balance weights. I bought them off eBay, I think £8 for 25 or 30, can't remember. 20 gram weights. You just peel the backing off and they're self-adhesive. So I've deliberately placed them just ahead of the pivot point on the chassis, and the difference in weight between just this and these on is quite substantial. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to wreck my engines trying to tow these things. That's not going to happen. It's just enough weight to keep them settled on the track. Because I do think that a lot of these earlier models are way too light. Same as the old Triang engines, some of the Limas. Granted, on the new stuff you've got all that bulkiness inside where you can't fit anything in anymore. So weights are something I had a lot of. I put them in Uncle Jed's trains. Can't remember whether I showed it, but I did. Some of them were tucked up inside the roof of the body. Some of them were fitted onto the chassis if I could get one on. So for me, cheap little idea. Yes, I know you could buy lead, and I know you can buy that liquid gravity, I think they call it, but why? It's probably more expensive than chucking these on, and at least this way, this is something that if I do want to take off, I can just peel it up with a knife and it's off. So we've done all 8 of the chassis like this. Adds a nice little bit of weight. They're not overly heavy, but they're probably twice as heavy as they used to be. These 4 here are the ones that I need the NEM pockets for. So I'll nip the Peters if I've got time tomorrow and pick some up. I've already pre-ordered them. Chased up my Railtech transfers for these because I ordered the newspaper bits and the electrical hazard flash to go on the top. I haven't primed any of the repairs on these. I think I've got 1, 2. I've got 3 repairs on the steps. All the buffers need to be done. I haven't primed them up because I haven't fitted the NEM pockets because I don't have them. So to give you an idea, that is what they look like. This is just a little tiny bit of plastic card on the bottom, and your NEM pocket sits just nicely on top of that shelf there. Gives you the perfect height, and as long as you stick to these edges here and don't push it in any further, which is kind of why you'll see the plastic card is set at that level. So if I push that NEM pocket in and it comes past that, I know it's going to make these really tight on that second radius test. So flush with the back, sitting on here, this is providing strength, because once you cut all this stuff off, these become very easy to do that with, and I didn't want that, so these will help keep it close together. Now again, in me being honest, Mr. crack on and get it done. I cut all the holes, I cut those off, cut all the holes, and then thought, right, let's start fitting the NEMs. An idiot boy didn't make sure when he cut all the holes and before he put the plastic card on that I cut the hole the right width. Well done, Paul. So I have had to sit with my drill and a little disc on and just shave the sides, each side of the NEM pockets. Now the NEM pockets I have were designed to go straight on as replacements for Triang and Hornby, with where you've got the 2 screw holes either side. Obviously they don't apply to this because it wasn't made that way, so I had to cut the wings off to start with, which left me with a bit of a protuberance, shall we say, on each side. So that had to be ground down anyway. So all I've done is I've gone on each side of the NEM to a point where they fit in. So for those of you out there thinking about doing this, don't be stupid like I am. Check that it fits first before you start whacking bits of plastic card on that you can't take off without possibly wrecking the bogie. So that's it, that's where we're at. Me prattle on forever and a day. I didn't see any point in showing you what I was doing because technically I showed you last week with that one. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the other one, go back and watch it. It shows you what I did to prepare this and how I chucked on the end of the carriage bits. Then it's just a duplicate, basically. It's that simple. A quick shot it together. But yeah, so the next one will be me spray painting them, and then when they're dry we'll put these back onto the chassis and we get the weathering kit out. Now it's years since I've done weathering. I used to use Humbrol's weathering powders, but was convinced by Peters to try the DCC stuff. Very small pots, but if it only does one job, then it only does one job. But we're going to chuck it on. I did used to enjoy weathering. I enjoyed it immensely. Again, there are some videos on my channel where I have done that. I think there was weathering a Ginty, which Graham Fulston had suggested that I do a weathering video. So there is one out there showing you what I did. I was copying from a picture of a real loco, so it was kind of emulating exactly where this was and that colour and where muck was, etc. The newspaper vans, to be honest with you, I've seen some pictures where they're really clean and I've some pictures where they're rotten. So I'm thinking we'll have a mixture maybe between some that are possibly reasonable. They've got some, the chassis obviously will be up to their eyes, but the body sides might just take it up a little, and we might have some that are absolutely pitted, because at the end of the day not everything is uniform in the real world, and not everything wears just as well. I mean, on the subject of that, you'll see on this roof, if I can get the lighting right, there's a bad mark here and there's a bad mark there. Both of those were from impressions from the mould, and I rubbed them down with a fairly coarse sandpaper, blew over the primer, and then thought, oh, you forgot to sand them down, mate. But I'm now looking and thinking, should I leave them? Should I leave them looking a little bit rough? Because the roofs aren't going to be pristine. They are going to have had some issues, some damage. So I don't know yet. I might sand them down, make them look pretty, and then mess them up with weathering powder. Or I might create a couple of gouges, who knows. Last thing, I talked about putting these box things on the side. For whatever reason, I'm still waiting for the styrene strip coming that I ordered for this, which I was promised was a 3-day delivery. So it is now the 22nd today, I think. Is it the 22nd? Anyway, I ordered them 3 weeks ago. I didn't order them from China, where most stuff comes from like that. I bought them from England, and it was specifically to do these sections. And I'm really not happy that they're not here. So I've been in touch. I've had a half a lame excuse about it'll be the Royal Mail, but then strangely got asked, can we have your address again? Well, I bought it on eBay. You get my address automatically, and I'm sure you can look it up. But I've sent you my address again, and you watch. I bet you it turns up by Wednesday, because it probably hasn't gone out the first time, or Royal Mail have cocked up, which we all know they're very good at. But I am thinking about doing that. I still can't make my mind up. I'm half convinced and I'm half not convinced. I just think it's a lot of work, and by the time these became newspaper vans, would they really have still had them on? They went to the trouble of blocking all of these vents, apart from that one and that one. So I don't know. Right now, right now, I'm not thinking too hard about the bodies or the tops. I'm more concentrating on the chassis work, because I think this is the first time I've done a modelling job where 70% of the work's gone into the chassis as opposed to the actual bodies. Anyway, time to go. I'm rattling on. Hopefully I'll see you next time, and we'll be playing about with an airbrush and seeing how much of a mess we can make. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you watched, then give us a like. You can subscribe if you want to, but I'm not forcing anybody to do that. As I said, not looking to be a YouTube star. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. Anyway, thanks very much, folks. See you again. Ta-ra now.